Hey, what is up, mortals? It is Sam Gabriel here with a new video for you. Welcome to What If Deku Was Quirkless, Part 6. I just wanted to greet you guys by just saying sit back and relax, you're in for a treat, so we begin. As soon as the #1 hero arrived on the scene, the freckled boy got excited to see his idol. As soon as Izuku was distracted, Shigaraki ordered the Nomu to crush the boy. Nomu heard the command and was about to obey, but the boy disappeared. The hand-covered villain looked confused and angrily wondered, "Where did that brat go?" He then saw that the #1 hero took the freckled boy somewhere safe. All Might was about to return to the scene, but Deku told his idol, "Be careful, All Might." The #1 hero nodded in response to the boy's concern and charged straight into the fight. The boy was happy to see his #1 hero at his best. "Midoriya, a little help, please?" the frog girl uttered as she held an injured Aizawa. The green-haired boy went and helped the two carry their teacher to safety, but Izuku couldn't stop looking at the fight. He wanted to see his hero in action and hopefully learn what he had to live up to. The #1 hero grabbed the beast by the waist in hopes of performing a German suplex. However, a black hole was formed, and the top half of the Nomu went through it, while the other half grabbed All Might by his injured weak spot. "Crap, he's grabbing my weak spot," the blonde hero thought in his head. The green-haired boy heard screams of pain and immediately knew who it was. On instinct, he charged straight back to the center plaza and went to help his #1 hero in his time of need. "Where are you going?" the frog girl asked in a concerned voice. The freckled boy didn't respond as he was too focused on getting back to the scene. When he arrived, he saw the predicament that All Might was in. He tried to figure out a way to help All Might. He rubbed his chin with his fingers and looked at his hands, and upon looking at them, he immediately thought of the perfect solution to the problem. He got into a vantage point as he activated his gauntlet, and with his left hand, he made a flaming bow, and with his right, he made a flaming arrow. He knelt down on one knee and started aiming at the target. "I only get one shot at this," the freckled boy said in his head. He shot the arrow at the Nomu's foot in the hope that the fire would cause him to let go. The Nomu screeched from the pain, and that gave All Might the chance to break free from the beast's grasp. The hand-covered villain scratched his neck multiple times as he said in an irritated tone, "That brat really doesn't know when to quit." While everyone was distracted, a blockade of ice encased the Nomu. Deku recognized who this attack belonged to. He then saw his childhood friend/bully charge at Kurogiri and then pin him to the ground as he held on to the metal collar. "Took them long enough," the green-haired boy thought in his head with a snarky tone. The hand villain was not happy with seeing his plans fail before his eyes. However, his anger subsided as he saw the encased Nomu break free from his ice prison. It roared in anger. "Nomu, kill them all!" the creepy hand villain ordered. The Nomu obeyed the command and immediately charged at the freckled boy who was now paralyzed with fear. The beast reeled his fist back and prepared to launch a hole through the boy's head, but the punch never came. Deku saw that All Might was holding the monster's arm with a locked-on grip and uttered, "I won't let you lay a finger on my students!" He then started to spin the monster around so fast that he almost created a tornado. He then threw that beast through the roof of the USJ, creating a massive hole in the ceiling. "Your biggest player is out of the game, and half of your minions have been subdued by first-year students. Your move," the symbol of peace uttered in a bit of a sassy tone. Deku heard this comment and thought to himself that he was starting to rub off on All Might. The black smoke villain broke free of his capture and said, "We should leave before the pros get here." The hand villain ignored that suggestion and charged straight at the green-haired boy in hopes of disintegration. As he got close, his hand was shot. This caught both him and Deku off guard. However, the latter was relieved that the pros had arrived. "Let's get out of here," the handyman said. In an instant, both villains disappeared into a black portal. After all that, All Might had just hit his limit, and Deku went to check on his idol. As he ran towards All Might, he heard a familiar voice call out to him. He looked over and saw that it was Kirishima. As the redhead ran closer, a wall of cement blocked his way. Kirishima was caught off guard by this, but was assured by the pro-hero Cementos that everything will be all right and that he should get back to his group. Afterwards, the police had arrived to apprehend the remaining villains and the Nomu. A couple of the students were frightened by the experience, while others felt thrilled by being given the chance to fight real villains. One student noticed that Midoriya wasn't there with him. That student was none other than Katsuki Bakugo. Meanwhile, in Recovery Girl's office, a bandaged and deflated All Might was laying on the hospital bed while Deku was sitting next to him. The deflated hero tried to sit up, but felt his body ache from the pain. The green ant asked the number one hero in a concerned voice, "Are you all right?" The blonde hero responded as he held the bandaged side of his body. "I'll be fine now, Midoriya. Although, I think I may have cut it kind of close. Ow." Midoriya gave a light chuckle at the blonde hero's comment, but then changed his facial expression to a sad one. The number one hero noticed that the boy was upset and asked him what was wrong. To which Deku responded, "It's all my fault." The number one hero had a confused look on his face and wondered what the boy meant by that. Deku then continued while his eyes began to tear up. "I sensed a weird presence the other day, and I overlooked it, but when the villains attacked, I realized that the weird presence was that hand-covered villain. If I had known this would happen, I should have said something sooner. Instead, I let this happen. I got you injured. And Mr. Aizawa, I shouldn't call myself a hero." The boy began to break down in tears and covered his face. The number one hero saw the boy cry his eyes out and patted the boy's head. As he did so, he uttered, "It's not your fault. You couldn't have known that this would happen." The green ant then tried to add on to his guilt, but was cut off by a deflated All Might. "I understand what you're feeling, young Midoriya. I've been in your position before." As the number one hero wiped away the boy's tears from his face, he added on, "All you can do is prepare yourself, if it ever happens again." "I hope I'm not interrupting anything." The green ant looked over his shoulder and saw that the man had a trench coat and a police badge. "Young Midoriya, this is Detective Tsukochi. He's a good friend of mine," All Might said as he introduced the man. The freckled boy extended his hand and said nervously, "Very nice to meet you, sir." The detective gave a warm smile at the boy's polite nature. Deku then left the room so that the two of them could talk about important things. After he changed back into his school uniform, everyone ganged up on Midoriya. They asked him a barrage of questions about what had happened. This overwhelmed the green ant, but his worries faded as a stern voice said, "Everyone please control yourself, you're overwhelming him." The voice was Tenya Ida, as he waved his arms in a robotic motion. Everyone gave the boy his space and refrained from asking any further questions. The green ant took a deep breath and assured everyone that he was fine. Then an unknown voice was heard. "Attention, students! This is your principal. The school will be closed tomorrow in order to run a proper investigation." Everyone gave mixed reactions about this announcement. Some were happy, while others were a bit sad. Deku was relieved, but still felt a bit of the guilt from earlier. However, he smacked himself on the face with both hands, in order not to feel that way again. Everyone left the school for the day, and the green ant walked with his friends to the station. In the distance, Katsuki was observing Deku, and had the sneaking suspicion that he was hiding something. In Deku's apartment, Inko asked her son if he wanted anything to eat, but the boy told her that he didn't want anything. The green ant immediately went over to his hero notes and wrote down about his new trick, and noted that he should practice to see if he could make something similar to that. He then looked at his hand and said to himself, "I need to prepare myself for the unexpected, and work hard to improve my quirk." The next day at UA, everyone was wondering if they were going to have a substitute teacher, but as the door opened, they saw Mr. Aizawa with bandages all over his face and both his arms in casts. He told everyone that Recovery Girl went overboard with her treatment, and that there would be an annual sports festival. Everyone got excited for this announcement, especially Uraraka, who was giving off a dark aura of determination. As he saw how determined his friend was, Deku took it upon himself to schedule training sessions with one of the teachers in order to practice his new trick. He then started muttering, which started to freak everyone out again, until the atomic blonde stopped his train of thought. He uttered, "Listen, nerd, I won't lose to you the same way I did at the fight simulation." The freckled boy was not surprised that his former friend/bully would make another declaration of war. He then responded in a sassy tone, "Looks like you're finally taking this seriously. Took you long enough." The atomic blonde got irritated by this comment and just simply shouted, "You better give it your all, you damned nerd. Same goes for you, Icy Hot." As the atomic blonde left the classroom, the green ant looked at his childhood friend/bully and gave a smug grin. He then looked out the classroom window towards the sky. he thought to himself. Let the games begin. Thank you all for sticking around, and I hope that you enjoyed. Before you leave, we would just like to let you know that We the Celestials has many other channels for your entertainment and viewing purposes. All the information you'll need is right below here in the description, so feel free to check out all the other incredible projects our team creates. Secondly, on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank everyone involved with the production of today's awesome content. Their details will be in the description below. That's all for today's video, so goodbye and have a divine day.